Welcome back, man, to another great episode of Comedians in Bed, man. And the next guy that I have on here for you today, man, he might have sold crack to you before, but right now he's in here doing his thing in these comedy streets. You might know his name, but you don't know him. But we're gonna get to know him better today because he is him. And I forgot to put his social on there, so we got it on there now. Big Daddy Poppy up in the house. I'm so excited to have him on the show here with us today, man. The hilarious, the very funny, and the very beautiful Jeff Allen, everybody.
Stop it. A virtual dap up. Let's get it.
What's going on, man?
What's up, man? I'm actually quick tidbit. I'm worse at handshakes with white guys. I don't know if that's normal. I always mess
Really?
up the white handshakes because I'm from the inner city, so I'm used to dapping up and then snapping. So when they go in for a firm handshake, I'm like, I don't trust this guy at all.
I
I
think
don't,
I think we put so much pressure on y'all to get it right that when y'all
yeah.
go to y'all side, y'all like, nah, this is how I do it now. So you gotta adjust.
How you doing, brother? Yeah, I can't. I don't go for that. Not a very formal guy.
Oh man, that's funny, man. Yeah, I'll be like, I always like, no matter what mic I go to here, I'll always mess up the handshake because people be trying to like do the dab up, but like I
Yeah,
usually go like I do the just hit the pound
it's
because
universal.
like yeah, but I also like I'm a germaphobe and I know what I do with my right hand, so I'm pretty sure you do the same with your right hand, and I just rather not, you know.
That's the ultimate bonding is like fusing the kickoff room. We're one now, brother.
That's funny and kind of nasty. Yeah, man. Yeah, so I do that. I mess up a lot too down here. But nah, yeah, it's cool the comedy down here. But yeah, I had to get you on, man, because you did your thing at the fireworks competition, and I don't be in Dayton often, but I was like, man, this is freaking night and day. We got to get him on the show.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, the fireworks competition was big for me because I didn't do it my first year in comedy. I've only been doing comedy for 2.5 years, so I skipped it my first year. The last year I ate shit. I didn't get. I invited people. I don't think I got a vote still. They didn't even vote for me, and I was like, that's fair. So when I came up this year, after that competition last year, I did the Dayton Funny Bone Clash of the Comics, and I got second place. And so when I rolled around this year, I was like, I'm gonna show them what I got. So I
Yeah.
definitely had a chip on my shoulder when I went up in that competition. But yeah, you did your thing too, man. You killed shit. Even in the finals, closing it out, you had a strong set.
Man, no, I have fun, man. It was real fun. I was like, I just started doing competition, so it was fun to do that. I didn't know you was only like 2.5 years in. I thought you were more than that. It don't seem like it with the writing.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I've submersed myself in the community and the craft. I'm obsessed. I can't go to sleep without thinking about it. I hit mics every day. I started my own mic so I could get hosting experience. I work at Wiley's Comedy Club now. I'm actually hosting tonight for Lee Kimbrell. That's my guy. I love him.
What mic is yours? The one
I run
on.
Carmichael's Comedy Open Mic Night. I've been doing that. We literally been doing it every week for over 2 years, which has
Okay.
been kind of stressful, but it makes you it throws you in the burner, man. It's a dive bar. So even when we have good shows on the weekends or we kill a mic, it's nice to have that humbling experience every single week. Every week.
Yeah, man. I love open mics. You can really tell who want to do it.
Yeah, literally, man. And the people that are consistently there, it's how you kind of earn respect when you get into comedy. You kind of earn your chops through those really rough open mics. Who's there every time? So
Yeah,
it's cool
yeah.
running that. I run Village Station Bar and Grill in Carlisle, Ohio. I run them there every other Monday too, as well.
Okay. How was starting your own mic? And what's the things that you learned that's good and what's the things that you learned that was like, bad about it?
Yeah, man. That was so monumental for my start in comedy. As so, me and my boy Caleb with a P. You probably seen him around doing his
Hmm.
thing. We were best friends since childhood, so we started comedy together. And Carmichael's is our favorite dive bar, and they had a little stage. And so we asked right when we like 3 weeks after we started comedy, we were like, "Hey, can we do an open mic here for free? We just every Tuesday." And he was like, "Fuck it, do your thing." And then we kept doing it every week. We learned how to host an open mic as we learned how to do comedy. So we kind of grew with the mic. So it's really cool to see because as it blossoms and we turned it into a showcase to now our 2 year anniversary in April, we had 80 people in that little dive bar, all for comedy. And that stuff like that's insane, but it's also kind of we've grown together. The
Mhm.
Mike at Carmichael's and our careers have kind of had this tie as we grow. It's really cool, bro.
Is Carmichael's the one where you got the stage on one side and on the other side is something? It's like something different. What mic is that? You
I
was
think
just there.
so.
You was just there this week.
Yeah. That was the one I posted on my story. Yeah. So we have like a main room with a stage, and there's like a wall that splits it up, which kind of works out because all the people that want to really immerse themselves in comedy can get in that main room, and then we're on the other side. All the comics are kind of bullshitting and waiting to go up. It's kind of turned into our little green room. It's pretty cool how it's
What
worked out.
what day is this?
Every Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Sign ups at 8:30. Carmichael's Pub, man. Come check
All
it
right,
out.
I'm gonna come down on a Tuesday soon. Yeah, somebody else just went down there and they told me they had good things about it. So
Yeah.
I've been meaning to come down today for a minute for the open mics. Been trying to get myself more out there. I usually go to Cincinnati, but been trying to get myself out there. Let them know there's different comics in the city.
Yeah, it's always good to show your face, man, because you're representing the scene where you're from, and you're also making those out of town connections. That's like one of the most important parts about comedy. No one really understands how important networking is. They're just like, if I'm me, I'll get work and I'll grow my brands. But networking, it's like a little pie chart. I tell new comics, this is what I've discovered in my experience. A third of it is being funny, showing up. A third of it is being professional. And a third of it is just being a cool guy. Like so many people get booked off just being a good hang.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So it
that
all
is
kind
true.
of adds up into
That
like
is true.
a pie chart.
What and you are a good person too. I meant to say that when I first started out. My fault. I messed up the intro because I realized I didn't have your handle on there, so that's why I couldn't say this. But you are always freaking smiling. Like
Yeah.
every time you're always smiling, full of good energy all the time, and like that's valuable. As to what you said, like that, just who you are can get you booked as well because people want to work with people that they like.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you saying that, bro. I think it just comes from a really dark childhood. I had a really, really rough upbringing. And I think that's also what allows me to adapt to any kind of room. I can do old white wineries, I can do the black rooms, I can do the clubs, all the same exact because I come from a melting pot. The middle of East Dayton is one of the heroin capitals of the world. Hey, check us out. And yeah, man, I think it's just experiencing the most terrible human experiences. When you keep going after that, you're just thankful that you're not there anymore. And I think I carry that around. I'm grateful to be in the spot that I am, even if some people downplay it. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be alive, man.
Yeah, no, it shows. I go to Dayton a lot. I call it my second home. I used to go a lot for track meets because I ran track for I used to go for the
Oh
Don
yeah,
Mitchell Invitational at Welcome Stadium.
yeah. Welcome Stadium. Yep.
Yeah. So I know a little bit about Dayton. So it's like the east side of Dayton. Is that like the bad part? Like, is that the hood? Like,
Yeah, so the east side is where I grew up with a majority at. So this is how I explain it to people who have never been there. The west side it's mainly black demographic, and the east side we have more of your refugees from Russia, people from Mexico. We have black people. We have But the main demographic of East Dayton is white trash, and that's me. Nice to meet you. So
Bing
we
bong.
have we have a lot of that. We have a lot of different people. It's more of a melting pot on the East Side. I grew up on both ends, but the most simplest way I can explain it is the West Side makes the drugs, sells the drugs to the people from the East Side. Yeah. So it's like the West Side and the East Side. They're pretty bad in their in certain areas, but it humbles you, man. There's a lot of creativity and a lot of talent that goes unrecognized in Dayton. I think that's part of my mission and my goal on earth is to just shine a light in the ghetto and give a lot of those people opportunities. I know it's funny because the way I look, it really is. I look like a politician. I want to help the ghetto out. Big fan of the blacks? No, man. I was I
What?
was
My fault. Go ahead.
yeah, you're good, man. I'm the child of addicts. I grew up on welfare. I was raised by my grandma. I had custody battles. I've been abused as a child. I've been in really, really, really dark places. And so I think the goal of my comedy is to show people that you can do whatever you want. This life is a playground. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter about your resources. Doesn't matter about your background. You can succeed, man. So I think that's my goal is to shine a light on people like me that grew up in my environment.
One thing I noticed, this go time around, the reason why I say you got better was because of the type of um material that you were talking about. It was more
Yeah.
so personal and about stuff that you've been through. So for, like the last time before I seen you for the competition was at the open mic at the Funny Bone.
Yeah.
So then it was like how did you overcome, if you had a fear of like talking about that deep personal stuff, how did you overcome it and how do you approach it in a way that people can receive it?
Yeah. That's a good question, man. I was never uncomfortable to talk about it. I just had an issue making it funny. Um, that joke about my dad that I tell a joke about my dad overdosing, and that showed me how free we are in this country because they'll kill you for smoking weed in other countries. But my dad literally he overdosed 4 times before he finally passed away, and they kept bringing him back to life. And I think that was almost the symbol of how loosey goosey this country is with their fucking opiate epidemic compared to other countries. So I worked on that joke for about a year, man, before I found out how to make it funny because it would make people sad. So when I
Mhm.
started talking about my struggles in life, people made it sad. But I guess I just found a way to for people to be more empathetic of my situation because I had to laugh about it. That's the only way I ever got through any of this shit is through laughing about it.
Mhm.
So, and I think eventually I found a way in my writing to put people in my shoes and to find it funny. You know, the way I found it funny, I, my writing got better and I was able to take people on the journey where at the end they could laugh. Where
Mhm.
originally people would be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that." I would get a lot of "ahs," like people
Yeah.
felt bad for me. But now they kind of see my angle of it, right? Where I made it funny, and that's freedom, man.
Yeah.
If you can turn the sadness into humor, you win. Life beats your ass, but for a second when you make a joke, you win.
Yeah. My condolences about your father. I make jokes about my father and my dad's sister. I think I think for me, like if you just I think like when it does come to like the hard stuff, like my sister was a crackhead, and when I bring that up, I think the tone or the way I say it helps them to receive it,
Yeah,
and then sometimes like where I want to laugh, depending on the audience or how the energy is or what I or just what the room is feeling, they may be quiet and really be like listening, or they may be like, oh, kind of sad. But I kind of just rely on the parts where I know like this is like a joke here. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
sometimes I do write it on purpose, like to get to just say a line that's just deep or just like, the truth and not try to be funny, just to get them to understand, or I guess to get them on my side to set up for the funny.
Yeah, it really does have them empathize with you. And then once you have that control of their attention, the more you improve as a comic, you can flip that to some misdirection or just a punch that they weren't thinking about. You know what I mean? You could take them to a perspective that they didn't have before, and then they can laugh about that. That's it's one of the coolest things about the craft, man. So I'm glad you understand. So your sister is actually an addict,
Yeah, she passed away like 2 years ago.
man.
Was it 2 years? Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, 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 yeah. I knew it was her time to go because she was walking around with without two front teeth. So I was like, yeah, it's you don't care no more. You
Yeah,
definitely don't care no more.
right, right. At that point, you're just like, well, you did this, you know.
Right. But I do plan on naming my first. I'm working on I, w- I'm working on a comedy album right now.
Interesting.
Oh, at least that's what I want to do. And I want to name it after her, or at least even if that do get complete or not, I definitely want to name like my first special after her too. So
Nice.
yeah, yeah,
How
because
did how
she.
did you personally getting into like the more sentimental side? How did that make you feel? Like, how did you deal with your family being addicted to that kind of stuff?
Well, it was easier for me growing up because I didn't know that they was addicted until I like started going to counseling. I was just describing my sister's behavior, and then my counselor told me she was addicted, and then I was like, "Oh, this makes so much sense." So I didn't find out she was like addicted to like probably like 2018, and probably the same for or a little bit before for my dad, that he was addicted to alcohol. So I really didn't like, I was just naive. Not that people was trying to hide it, but I was just like I don't know where I was at. I was just in my own world. So I
Yeah,
really wasn't paying attention. But I think it's important to talk about it because I think it's important to talk about it because some people may go through that same thing. But I think if people like for me, like when I'm having a super bad day, like I'm throwing on a comedy special because I know like I either have two options. I can either keep being sad or I can be funny. I'll be happy. And if I can't get myself there, somebody is getting paid to make me, get there or whatever. So I kind of see it the same way. Like people come to comedy shows to just let go of what's going on in their world,
yeah,
and they just come in to be purely entertained. Like I mean, I know there's prop comics and other stuff like that, but literally it's just us up there, one person talking. You know what I'm saying? So
for sure.
they're invested in that. So I think sometimes I feel it's important to acknowledge, my own. I think it's just I feel like when I'm up there, to be honest with you, I feel like if I'm gonna spend your time and your money, like you might as well get your money's worth. And I just feel obligated to like speak my truth up there. That's what I've been really focusing on. Is just really like not making jokes about other stuff, but just focusing on me and just telling my truth. You know.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing, man. That's one of my favorite things about the craft. That's why I love this so much. You'll hear me say that a lot. I love comedy and what it does for people, and also what it does for us, man. Because that's therapeutic when you can turn that pain, you can turn that trauma into something truly beautiful. When people are laughing, it's one of the most beautiful things about existence.
How was and you're right about that. How was growing up in Dayton? I mean, I've only visited, so like how is growing up in Dayton? Because like it looked totally different from when I started going there in
Yeah,
2005 till now. Like now y'all got some money. So like,
right.
how is growing up and like living in Dayton?
I would say it's getting a little better. I think over the last 10 years, the our part of the government and the community is really uh, starting to notice the problems. I feel like there's an evolution going on, not only in Dayton but around the world, but especially in Dayton. They started building more community housing. They started giving more resources to the addicts. They started paying a little more attention to the people that are struggling. But when I was growing up, I didn't know it until I grew up. But it was rough, man. It was kind of just life. I didn't know life outside of Dayton. Uh, but it was fun. We made the struggle fun. Like going to the corner store, playing basketball all day. But there's a lot of zombies, man. A lot of people walking around with like scabs and homeless, and a lot of addicts and prostitution. It was weird.
Yeah.
It was a weird experience. Shit was. I couldn't keep a bike. My bike would always disappear. And the fucked up thing is, I didn't find out till later. Is sometimes it was my own dad. My dad, my dad would steal my shit and sell it. Sometimes.
Oh man, so funny. This is why, like, I love talking to, like, who was I talking to the other? I was talking to a comic, and I asked him, I was like, "Do you have like friends? Like, do you have like?" Because like people be asking me like, how do I go on stage? And I'll like sometimes like I don't do it all the time, depending on the show, but sometimes I'll just go on stage and I'll come up with a joke real fast about something in the audience. And like this is why I say like even if you are a comic, I mean, well, when you're a comic, I feel like you should either talk to your friends or comics and just have normal conversation because it'll re-trigger something in your head about a memory, and then you'll be like, oh shoot, I need to write about that. Like
Yeah.
you're talking about like stealing bikes. I've never had my bike stolen, but I know a lot of people in the hood has
Yeah.
had their bike stolen. Like, so yeah, like that's how you. And I was telling him like, my fault, I'm super high, but I was telling him like I was like, you should definitely get a group of friends and just talk, and you'll find that you'll come up with a lot of jokes that way.
Yeah. We have writing sessions. Me and the boys. Like shout out to Kyle Rogers, Mark Perkins, Caleb Lee. Those are my guys, and we have a lot of writing sessions, or we'll just get around and bullshit, man. Get around and kick it, watch some stand up, and we'll write a lot of stuff, give each other tags. Because sometimes you don't. You're right. It'll trigger memories, or other people have angles to a premise or a concept that you wouldn't even think about. So it's very, very important in comedy to have those outside voices, other than the crowds at open mics. Kind of give
How
you that perspective.
was I wanted to ask, how was since you and Caleb both started around the same time, and now I see both of you guys hosting all the time, either at Wiley's or at the Funny Bone. How is that experience to come up with somebody that you know is your childhood friend, and then two, what was that process like of like going from open mics to now hosting at clubs regularly?
Yeah, there's pros and cons, man. Because uh, I mean that's my guy. That's my brother. Literally, we have lifted each other up. He's been through unthinkable shit. I've been through unthinkable shit. Losing like suicide attempts, fucking losing like his mom, my grandma, my first child. He passed away like right after I had him, and so we've been there for each other through the lowest points. And I think that it's cool that we can always be honest with each other. Um, like we don't sugarcoat shit. It's not like a new comic friend or one of your comedy friends. Like that's my boy. So if he does something up there, I'm like, hey, don't fucking do that. That bombed. They didn't like that. And we're just straight up honest with each other all the time. And it's really cool to see your brother, because that's truly my brother, chasing their dreams, man, accomplishing things. I love to see him doing that. But at the same time, uh, sometimes that honesty can transfer into arguments. And sometimes, like, how much we're around each other can cause a little bit of tension. But at the end of the day, it's my best friend, so we always work it out. Also, it's rough starting with somebody, because then for the rest of your career, anybody who knew you from the time you started, we're associated with each other now, and so that's been kind of annoying at times, honestly, because people Where's Caleb? And I'm like, I don't. He's a fucking 28.
Yeah. Yeah, like I am my own person.
Yeah, and they think we're some comedy duo. And I mean, no offense, I love them, and we do things together, and I have no problem, starting like hosting mics with him or creating things with him, or doing anything having to do with our careers together. But we are separate performers. We don't go up there and we don't bump mics. We ain't those fucking magical twins that finish each other's sentences. We are our own separate people, and so I feel like as our careers progress, we're definitely going to like separate ourselves. We're different types of comics. We're different types of people, and so that is my best friend. But at the same time, like I don't want our careers drawn together for the rest of our lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So how did you get into hosting? From going to open mics and being now you're hosting at Wiley's. Do you host at the Funny Bone sometimes too?
Yeah. So I've hosted once at the Dayton Funny Bone and then once at the Toledo Funny Bone, and I'm hoping to get some more work soon from Toledo. They said I had to get like 20 to 25 down, and I think I'm there. Um, so I think, man, it's been a crazy ride, dude. It's been a crazy ride. I was working so hard at open mic, showing up to the club almost every weekend, and then last June, Kyle Kemper, if you know him, he's probably the best comic in Dayton. I fucking love that dude. Shout out to Kyle. But he was the Wiley's door guy, and then he was on his way out, and he had said something to the manager Erica, like this kid Jeff Allen, one of the best young comics coming up. He would be perfect for the job. And so when she asked me, I was like, fuck yes. I've been looking at Wiley's Comedy Club since I was 13, dude. I've been dreaming about performing at that club and eventually getting there for a long time. So when I got asked to work there, it was like one of those psychedelic moments. I don't know if you're a psychedelic guy, but like I felt something spiritual about it. It was like it was destined, man. It was so crazy. So when I started working there, that was around the time I got into the funny Dayton Clash of Comics, and I killed both sets. I killed in the semifinals and killed in the finals, and I ended up getting second place. And then right after I got second place, it was almost like the universe fell in alignment a little bit. It was like, oh, you're ready. And so then right after that, I got my first hosting gig at Wiley's, and I just execute on the opportunities, man. Be professional, be a good guy, and that kind of multiplies and amplifies it. Because then I started getting more gigs around the city, and then I just did my first show in Cincinnati a couple months ago, and I started really honing in on being a host. And I think I'm one of the best hosts in Ohio personally, just because the energy, I know the fundamentals about it, how to get a show started, how to get people excited. And once people see that, they want you hosting their stuff. And it's kind of like a tree, man. I kind of just branched out. So now I've hosted, this weekend will be, I think, my 6th or 7th hosting gig at Wiley's. And yeah, I'm going to host next weekend as well. And it just kind of transferred in. Like once you start performing, people see that, they give you more opportunities. And
Well, shout out to getting into your childhood dream at 13. Yeah.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
So what tips do you have for hosting? Because that's something I'm trying to get into.
Yeah.
I heard it makes you better sooner. So I wanna what kind of tips do you have for like hosting?
For hosting, I would say it's like a double-headed dragon, man, because you want to be funny. You want to execute your comedy, all the stuff you've wrote down. But at the same time, you have to acknowledge your crowd and how to kind of inform them, how to always shout out the staff, always like plug the next shows coming up at the end of the show, and getting people excited about each performer. That's like the other head of the dragon. So tips, I would say, right off the jump, get them to applaud, get them excited, let them know that they made the right decision by spending an hour and a half of their time at said club. Make them feel like they're in for something grand. It's all about that moment. Like find the flame in the moment and fan it. That's part of your job as a host. And then the second tip is when you're hosting, uh, the crowd is almost like its own sentient being altogether. All those chemistries, all those vibrations make one big vibration. And you'll kind of feel it as you start. Some crowds are really hot right from the jump. They're just fucking hooting and hollering and they're with you and they like you. But most of the time, you're going to get a crowd that's like, okay, I paid money. What do you got? And as your host, it's your job to, I call it breaking the wall, because there's a wall of expectation in every crowd. And I always put one of my strongest jokes right in the middle of the set. I get, hey, thanks for coming out. Make some noise for your headliner. You made the right decision by being here. Get into my intro. And then right in the middle, I'll hit them with one of my best jokes, because you'll kind of hear in the beginning as you're getting to your introductory jokes, they'll be like, ha, ha, ha. And then in the middle, it's like, ah, ha, 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 ha. And you'll hear it. The whole crowd, it's big laughter, and that's breaking the wall right there. So you definitely want to break the wall. And that's really the only tips, man. Other than, like, you're funny as fuck, so you'll definitely be good at that. Your material is strong enough on itself, but you kind of gotta work it in a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna see how that go.
You got any hosting stuff coming up, or you just
Nah, I think I'm gonna try to do well, yeah, I've been letting people know, like, hey, if you ever can't make a night at your mic, just let me know. I'll host. But I was thinking about starting my own mic. I just don't know where to do that at. So I'm gonna start looking around, see where I can do that at. And probably do it on Fridays. Cause like on Friday we only have one mic really. So I'll probably do it like Fridays, like 6 or 7, just get it over with, you know. So that's how I was thinking about getting into it, was just start my own mic. Cause yeah, Fridays, I mean you got shows at the Funny Bone, but everybody here not on there, you know, might be one person and that's just somebody hosting. So I think if we had another Friday mic, it wouldn't be bad. We do got a mic on Saturday, and that's been picking up here lately. We got a mic on Sunday. It's still relatively new, so I don't know. I think we have 2 mics on Sundays, but one of the other ones is not as consistent. So, but yeah, I've been trying to get into it, but nah, I haven't started it yet.
And that's what's up, though. There's a lot of benefits to starting your own mic that I didn't even know when I did my mic. Because not only you get experience hosting a cold crowd who most likely doesn't know comedy's happening and doesn't want to be a part of it, and you kind of get the opportunity to flip those people and really get them. But you allow a list of comics to network with, man. And sometimes comics will be from out of town. So just by giving people that time, you kind of form your own connections. It's really cool, dude.
Yeah. No, I really do want to. I really do want to start one, but then it's like, dang, do I really want to be bothered with people? Like, y'all be going through a lot. Like, hey, can you bump me up? Like, I'll be like, no.
Yeah, you do have to deal with a lot of that shit, a lot of different things.
I'll be feeling bad for hosts, man. I'll be like, man, y'all go through a lot. I keep it simple, bro. I'll just be like, hey, just put me early, bro. Not because I'm trying to be like all that. I gotta go to work in the morning. So if you just, you can just put a brother up early. I appreciate it. If you can't, no big deal.
Yeah,
That's what I try to do. But yeah, y'all be going through a lot. I'll be like, nah, way, couldn't be me.
for sure, man. That's how once I found out how to host a mic and do it professionally and do it to where the owner likes it. That's why I turned it into revenue. So now I get paid for hosting both my mics, and that's also a big part of it. There's even when I'm going through that burden, going through this cold crowd, this fucking 7 people who don't care about you. You're dealing with all the comics bullshit. It makes it worth it, because you're like, oh, this is my job. Like I got to do this.
Yeah. Would you say, I don't really know how many scenes there are. I really only would think like there's probably 4, but like, how would you describe the Dayton comedy scene in your own words? Because we got Dayton, we got Cincinnati, we got Columbus, we got Cleveland, maybe Toledo. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like I don't them the only ones I really know for real. So like how would you describe the Dayton comedy scene?
man, we're Dayton's it's a grimy place. That's how I would say it. A lot of the comedians that end up coming up here, they have they're kind of dirtier, I would say, just a little bit, but it's all love, man. Like there's not much tension, there's not much drama that goes on here. We we support each other. I mean,
Bing
even if
bong.
there is, I ain't saying nothing. All right, I ain't saying nothing. But even if there is people that steal jokes and and are kind of like hacky or are getting opportunities, reaching out to places when they're not ready for it, they'll be alienated on their own. We let people fuck up. If you're
Yeah.
gonna do shitty things, we're not gonna conflict with each other. We're not gonna waste energy on confronting those people. We're gonna let the art of comedy crush them on their own. So that and I think it's a hotbed for talent, man. We have like a lesser comedy scene. Like our most popular mics, probably Carmichael's, and our list fills up to like 25 sometimes. But 10 to 12 of those people are going to be straight killers, getting work at the clubs, and they're going to go up there and they're going to crush with their material. So, and I've even noticed that where I just went to Austin in early June, and they are packed with comics. There's so many coming. Their list is like 40 to 50. But the guys I do mics with regularly, Jarrell Beeman, Kyle Kemper, John Morris, Wyatt Lutz, they're all fucking destroying in Austin.
Oh yeah, I really
They
do
are
that. I
they are
really
in
do
the
got a
upper
strong.
tier of Austin comics, and so I think there's not a ton of us, but we're killing it, dude. We are really we take our craft seriously. We come out, we work hard, and it's really picking back up after the pandemic. Right when I started comedy, we had like 2 mics going, and only one of those is actually in Dayton.
Mm-hmm.
So Dayton comedy's kind of made a comeback in the last 2 years, and the scene's really been rejuvenated, and we're getting more new comics. We're getting some female comics in the works. So Dayton's on the come up, man, especially with Chappelle's new club going and him buying the building that Wiley's is in. We're going to see a lot more great comedy and comedians come out of Dayton.
I'm not gonna lie, that is true. Now that you name the people, I'm like, dang, y'all really do got a lot of. Yeah, y'all do. Not gonna lie, y'all really do.
Right.
Very, very
And
strong. Very, very
I'm
strong.
in the middle tier, man. And like you said, I was killing it. I'm fucking dog food compared to those guys. They are absolute destroyers.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I don't really like that. I be in Cincy, but I really don't know. I mean, I think I know who they have here. I really don't be paying attention, bro. I'll be like, I just give me the time. Like, so I'll be missing, but like, Cincy, yeah, Cincy's cool. I do want to get up to Cleveland though.
yeah, I've never been to Cleveland before, but I've heard some good things and some bad things about Cleveland. So I don't really know. I know they
Yeah,
got Birdies, which is like a club up there.
yeah, that's the only one I couldn't. Only scene I haven't been able to hit yet. Let me see. All right, so yeah, our scene is a yeah.
Can we edit this out? Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean it's fine. It's all, it's fine. Getting the charger there. Got the
I think you're having an audio issue. You getting that?
yeah. Hold on, let me see something. Hey, that's how them OnlyFans videos be. Like they knock they knock the thing.
Sounds real rough over here, man.
What'd you say?
It sounds real rough on my end.
There you go. There you go. Now you good. Um, my scene is fun. It's fun. Um, despite what you see, there's a lot of good people in the scene actually, like really good people.
Yeah.
Um,
No, for sure, man. I fuck with Columbus comics like heavy. Like
yeah.
the what y'all got going. Xavier, I love Xavier. Halima. Shayna's been fucking killing it out in LA.
I don't think this is
Fucking
her first time
you out there?
headlining, but she's coming back on the 5th to headline.
Yeah, she said something
You
about a
know,
birthday after party too. I might pop up there, man.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, we have I don't really know how to describe our good people. Like they're dark. We have a lot of dark comics, in my opinion. Like not dark in a bad way, but like I'll be like, oh dang, y'all really going for it. All right, cool. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Especially
Hey,
especially
shout out
here
to
in
Toy
Columbus.
Lord, man.
Yeah. every joke he do is dark, man. I'm like,
Yeah,
man.
I fuck with it though.
Which is really interesting here because Columbus is so family oriented. So when you hear so many dark comics, I'm just not thinking about it. It's really funny. Um yeah, man, but I think it's so dope that you guys have Wiley's down there. Wiley's is a good club. That you guys say it's the oldest club in Ohio. Speak about the importance of Wiley and how, having something so local and so cherished has helped you in the Dayton comics.
And it's legendary. I didn't know the magnitude of Wiley's when I started. I didn't know how important it was to the scene and just how important clubs like that are to comedy in general. Like, it's so awesome to have a place because shout out to the Funny Bone. No disrespect to the Funny Bone, but our Funny Bone really doesn't give a lot of opportunities outside of Clash of Comics, especially for the previous years. They're just starting to work more local comics into their shows. But for a long time, they didn't have a great platform for local comics. Whereas Wiley's, we ain't gonna have like a top tier LA, New York based headliner every weekend. But at the same time, she really goes out of her way to give opportunities to more Ohio based comedians like Ran from Cincinnati, Lee from Cincinnati. The list goes on and on. John Morris, one of Dayton's finest, just got his first headlining weekend. She'll uh, she'll go out of her way to get her people, the comics that she knows are working hard and that are capitalizing on the scene, opportunities, and that's so important to comedy in general, just the craft. And then I don't know, it's so cool when you walk in Wiley's because you see all those pictures, man. You see a picture of Chris Rock from '89 on the wall. You see a picture of a young Ellen, young Dave. He used to come here and work out stuff, man. So having a club like that not only supports its local comics, but from time to time, the biggest comics in the world will get on that stage and crush it. And then Sunday, we have the open mic right after that. So we get to get on that same stage. And there's something special about that, man. There really is.
I loved independent clubs more than the chain ones. I don't know. It's just a different vibe. We just got our first one up here. Um, maybe towards the end of last year.
Hold up, what'd you say? I just cut out.
Oh no, you're fine. I said that we just got our first independent club here in Columbus. Towards I think towards the end of last year. I said I tend to like those a little bit more.
Yeah, the attic, man. The attic. Shout out to the attic, man. I
Yeah. Hold on.
Are you good?
Hold on, I'm gonna remove you and I'm gonna bring you. I'm gonna bring you back on. Hold on, give me 1 second because I can't see you anymore. All right, can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. I'm still in here.
Okay, I can't see you.
For some reason, my video floated away.
Try to This is what we're gonna do. Try to log all the way out and then just log back in and see if that worked. There we go.
Something happened. I don't think I got disconnected shortly for a short amount of time.
Oh no, you good. But yeah,
What were you saying about the attic?
I said like I like the attic a lot. Like it being like just it being like an independent club and I tend to like independent clubs more than like the chain ones because they are a little bit more local comic friendly and safer environment and they let you be a little bit more I guess loose in there.
Yeah, they're more about comedy. There's less standards. There's less huge headliners coming in with all these writers and like expectations and things you have to hoops you have to jump through. Man, it's more like bare bones comedy, and that's what's up. Like that's it really puts you in the shit because sometimes when that's all you see, when all you have is a big chain club, you think that's what comedy is, and especially on our level, it's really important to have that freedom of having a club like Wiley's or the Attic, man.
So you mentioned it earlier about like Dave Chappelle, him having a club. I didn't know he bought the building for Wiley's. Like, since you down there, you in the trenches. Like, what inside scoop can you give us about like what's going on? Because that's really what's holding me up from moving. It's like, do I really want to move or do I want to stay and try to like work out this club? So like, what's going on? Because even for the people that may not know about like Dave Chappelle, like getting his own comedy club in Dayton.
Yeah, so he bought out the old firehouse in Yellow Springs, and he's been working on a club for like 2 years. And when I went down to Austin, they even told me because Rogan made his club like in the same amount of time, but Rogan perfected the shit. Like he was on it. And I saw a show at the Comedy Mothership. A couple of my boys got on the open mic, and it's a lottery. It's pretty crazy, man. They got 40 comics lined up around the block, ready to sign up on a list, and only 12 get chosen. Like Austin, you are in the trenches. Like Austin is the place to be, man. But yeah, so it was funny. They were telling me Chappelle went up the opening weekend of Mothership and was like, "This motherfucker did it right. Like I got to go back and change some shit." So he's still working on getting that club out. I don't know when it's going to be open, but I know that the news did an interview with him, and he said that it's going to be to boost local talent because you can go to places like Chicago, New York, Austin, and most of the comics are not only from the Midwest but from Ohio. A majority of the people I met in Austin were from Ohio.
And I think his phone might have died. I'm not really sure. But yeah, as you can see or tell, um, a lot of the people are from Ohio. We'll wait for him to get back, but a lot of people are from Ohio. But yeah, Dave Chappelle basically just like uh, making creating a comedy club, starting a comedy. I think they announced it like maybe 2021, and just waiting for that to go ahead and get started. Um, get kicked up and whatnot. And I really am excited about that. Just for the simple fact because that's just a big news. And plus like Dayton's really not that far from Columbus. So, once they get that going on, that's just another mic. I mean, Dayton's like maybe an hour away. 45 if you're not doing the speed limit, but yeah, it's not bad at all. Um, but I've been to Wally's myself. Wally's is cool. When you go in there, you do see all the you do see all the you do see all the comics that were up on there before you, and it kind of make you feel, a little special. Like, dang, I'm gonna be up on there. Uh, I think at the Funny Bone here uh they be having comics. Um, but the thing they be having comics on there, but I don't know if they just putting pictures on the wall. I mean, the people that they have on the wall, like you could tell they've been there, but I don't know if they be having like just pictures on the wall or if like those people been there. But I know for a fact some of them been there. But when you do see those comics on the wall though, it do be dupe. It do be dope to see. Uh, yeah, it do be dope to see it though. I ain't gonna lie. I don't. I think like that's when you get like I don't want to say Wall of Fame or whatever, but like as you know, sometimes they'll just have uh comics picture on the wall and stuff. Actually, to be someone had made me a like a picture on the wall type deal. And it's Wiley's, me at Wiley's. I don't know if that was my first time I think that was my first time at Wiley's. But yeah, me at Wiley's, and it's actually here. I'm looking at it right now in my office. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my picture on the wall for the first time, man. My picture on the wall for the first time. Um, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Uh, but I ain't in no rush. Did he move out there? I ain't in no rush for that to happen. So yeah, but nah, when he was mentioning that, I didn't really think about it. They really do. Dayton really do got some heavy hitters out there, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Dayton do. Dayton got some killers out there. Killers too. Cincinnati got great comics, too. They have a lot of. How do I say, out of all the scenes, they might have the most women for real. They have a lot of women, a lot of women, a lot of women. Um, what's going on?
I hope you can edit, man.
Oh no, you're fine.
I hope you can edit.
You're totally fine, man. It doesn't. You're fine. You're fine. I was just talking about like the different scenes and stuff, and like dating and whatnot, and like the comics and whatnot. Just piggybacking off what we were saying, and how dope it would be to have your, they picture a picture on the wall.
Yeah,
How dope to have your picture on the wall,
yeah,
and like me having my first one. And my fiance at the time, she actually one of the pictures that she got, she cut it out and made like a little frame with me at Wiley's, and it's on my wall up here in my office.
yeah, man. That's awesome. Yeah, we
Yeah,
that's on my bucket list is to get my picture up there.
yeah. I was about to say, would that be on your to do list to get your picture on the wall? That would be dope. It's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, next to Jeff Foxworthy, Donnell Rawlings, Dave Chappelle, Bill Hicks, they got
Yeah,
all
man.
the best comics of all time up there, man.
So what you saying is I shouldn't move right away since Dave is building this club. That's really what was keeping me for real. That, and first I had to
Yeah,
find a job out there, but I mean, I know Chicago not far away, so I could still just come back. But
yeah, Chicago's popping, but I will say, most of the people that move out are headlining around here. So I mean, you can improve in those other scenes, but what I'm noticing is you get really good in Ohio.
oh
That
yeah,
you get to be a killer around here in the Midwest, and then you kind of move out there.
I feel
Uh,
like my I feel like in Ohio is where you learn your growing pains.
Yeah, yeah, you go through all that shit. It's a lot. It's a lot
Yeah.
tougher around here, man. So at these open mics, no one gives a shit.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, even at the club, sometimes I'll host for like a 20-person crowd who's like, ha ha, literally.
I've been meaning to ask. So I'm gonna ask you, like, because I feel like I can't say all races because I haven't. That's another thing. I'm not. I'm not saying like Chicago will have it, but like, man, I wish it was like a Mexican room, an Asian room, an Indian room, just like because I feel like there's only two type of people I perform in front of, like black people or white people, which is fine, but I don't feel like that's a representation of the world. So I don't really know how other people. And one of the things I realize is that how black people laugh and how white people laugh. And like, am I tripping or maybe I'm just it was at the mics? Like, do white people do y'all normally have like shorter laughs?
Sometimes I would say in front of those middle class white people who are kind of more progressive and cultured, they as cultured as you can be, but
Yeah.
they'll be like they're more. That's a good one.
Yeah.
You ever get those people? They're like, yeah, this is a very skillfully written joke. Whereas you get those extreme white crowds or extreme black crowds, they're more like, ah, ha, 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 yeah, yeah. They'll get more rowdy. I will say I like doing black rooms better
Mhm.
because there's not a better feeling as a white guy named Jeff than to hear black men barking for you. That's fucking. This is the peak of my existence. They're like, oh, 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 oh. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Or this is my favorite. You stupid. That's my favorite thing to hear. That's how I know I'm crushing it. Oh, he
That's funny.
crazy. That's my
I
shit,
do
man.
like I do like when white comics can go in there in a black room and make them laugh because I know that is very very hard. So like,
Yeah,
at first until you learn it. Because like when you be at them open mics and they be trying them jokes and be like, nah, that one was a little racist. Don't say that one.
yeah, for sure, man. That's where I have the advantage, like just being around all types of people, growing up around them, and even like I worked at UD for a little while, and I got to be around personally, conversate with people who are from Japan and China, and a lot of people from India. There's so many people from India.
What side of town is UD on?
uh, I grew up a little bit in the west side, mostly on the east side. So I got a little mix of everything, man.
No. I said what side of town is UD on?
Oh, is UD on? I thought you said UB on.
No, my fault.
Like shit, man. I'll be on the east. Nah, UD's on the east side, but it's like where the
Okay.
east side kind of goes in to the south side of town.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's
Okay.
pretty wild because there's like college kids with fucking Corvettes rolling around, and 10
Yeah.
minutes down the street, someone's blowing someone at the bus stop for heroin. Like it's so
Yeah.
wild.
Hey, my favorite thing about Dayton is fuck. What's the name of that pizza place I haven't had in a while? It's not Condado's. Freak. Isn't there a pizza place down there that starts with a C? Or is it?
Casanos.
Yes, Kasana. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I love that pizza place.
Casanos
It's a
slap.
little too much on the salt, but I love the pizza
Yeah,
place.
there's a shit ton of salt in the crust. I don't know. I've never been a Casanos guy, man. I don't know.
I love Casanos, man. Yeah, I love Casanos. All right, Jeff, man, as we start to wrap things up here, who is on your Mount Rushmore for comedy?
Ooh, Mount Rushmore for comedy. See, this one kind of gets a little shaky, man. Man, there's so many comics that have influenced me, and the Mount Rushmore is such a vague and subjective term. It can be anything. So I would say my personal Mount Rushmore. Um, I go obviously the obvious ones. Chappelle, personally for me. Are you talking about personal or like all time?
Whatever you want it to be. Yeah,
Okay,
whatever you need to be. Yup.
I go all time. I would go Chappelle, uh, Pryor. I slide Bill Hicks in there. A lot of people like to say George Carlin. I think Hicks did some of what Carlin did by his thought-provoking material, but he had a much more skillful and organized way about of going about it. Personally, hot take, I think Carlin's overrated because the impact of his material. It's a bold statement, I know, but I think he was so oversaturated. He kept cranking out those specials, and not all of them were quality, man. So go Chappelle, Pryor, Hicks, and Louis C.K. Louis C.K. still going at it, man. So I'd say that's my Mount Rushmore. But there's some new cats that are working their way up there, man. Shane Gillis is fucking phenomenal. I think he's going to be one of the greatest of all time. If Neil Brennan keeps cranking out specials, Neil Brennan's a huge influence for me. The way he writes and performs and kind of has like a complete show. Because personally, like I know this might be surprising, but like I write hip hop music. I've written poetry.
It's not
Uh,
surprising at all.
I do. I do sports broadcasting. I'm actually a paid sports broadcaster on the side, and
It's not surprising at all.
I
Yeah,
just,
no.
I just have a lot of different layers to me, man, and I want my comedy to kind of morph into everything. A huge influence for me is Donald Glover. So coming back to Neil Brennan, I love the way he throws all of his shit together into one show. It's like a roller coaster of emotion, and that's kind of what I want to work into. I want comedy to be art at the purest level, manipulation of human emotion. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm all about, man.
That's probably why we get along, man. I used to do I used to work at a news station too.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm trying to be the I don't want to say trying to be the next Donald Glover, but he's definitely inspiring. I feel like he's our generation Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, literally,
I
man. He was fucking Simba. Get out of here. That's crazy.
I wish he would do another comedy special. I
Me
really, really, really
too,
do.
man. I
I
would
really,
love
really.
that shit. But at the same time, he's so big now, he can kind of do whatever the fuck he wants to. Like
Yeah.
Atlanta's genius. Because the internet, hip hop album genius. Dude, just everything he fucking does is money, man. And probably my favorite entertainer ever, Donald Glover. It's fucking phenomenal. But yeah, I that would be one of my goals in art is to kind of have like an album that is comedy, poetry, and hip hop all mixed into one. And people are crying, then they're laughing, then they're intrigued, then they're sad, then they're laughing, and that's nothing more beautiful than me. To me, is just that roller coaster, because that's what life's all about, man. It's one big fucking roller coaster.
What words of motivation or encouragement do you have for any comedian that's listening to this right now?
Words of encouragement. Uh, I come from nothing, man. Um, I'm the child of addicts. My teachers doubted me. My family has doubted me. They still question my decisions. Um, this world is your canvas, and you can paint whatever you want to paint. So be yourself. Um, desire plus belief equals results. If you want to do something and you believe you're you can do it and you will do it, then that's part of all you need. Those two things, and you take the actions to make it happen. You can do it, man. I'm the ultimate underdog. I want to start my LLC by the end of the year, and it's called 16th Seed, and that's the last seed in the NCAA tournament. They've only won one game in the history of the NCAA tournament, And that's what I really stand for, dude. The underdogs, the people that are forgotten, the people that are counted out. I want to make it so those people can make it, and I can create a platform for those people. So do what you want, make this life your playground, and be recklessly positive. And I think that's a term that sometimes people think those are antonyms, reckless and positive. But be so positive and be such a ray of light that the clouds will never block you.
Message.
I don't know. I don't know what antonym is.
Synonym and antonym. Antonym's opposite.
I just exposed city public school system. Wow. All right, cool. Jeff, tell people why they should listen to Comedians in Bed.
We have the responsibility to make fun of everything, man. Life is there's so much anger and division, and there's so many different negative emotions in the world, but we have the responsibility to transfer those negative emotions into the most beautiful thing about human existence, laughter, in my opinion. So I think people should listen to the comedians because, well, I mean, we turn negativity into positivity, man.
No, that's the I figured. I was like, he didn't hear what I said. I said, why should people listen to Comedians in Bed, the podcast?
Oh my God. I am so gay. I was like, I can't wait to be motivational, dude. I thought you said, why? Can you edit that part out? That was not. I sounded like a simp, man. Nah, you should listen to the Comedians in Bed because we're cool as shit, dude. Fucking Ty's a chill hang. He's funny as fuck. He's going places. And he has interesting conversations with some of the most psychotic people on earth, which are comedians. So go look it up. Listen. Is this a plug? Is this going to be like on a promotional video or something? What am I doing? What the fuck?
Stay off the weed.
You're right on the money with those goddamn soundtracks, dude.
I'm getting better at it because I wasn't always on the money with it.
It's like a sarcastic DJ, bro. What the fuck?
Jeff, tell people where they can reach you at, man.
Gym City Hefe on Instagram, man. That's my biggest way to make contact with this newer generation. I'm Jeff Allen on Facebook if you are above 40. I look up Jeff Allen Dayton because I kind of fucked myself by just going by my regular name because there's so many Jeff Allens out there. You got to look up Jeff Allen Dayton. I'm the first guy you'll see. Yeah, man. Find me on those two platforms. My number is 937-5. Please text me.
I'm going like this because my jaws hurt so much.
Yeah.
That's how funny this episode was, man. If you want to watch next week's episode, be sure to catch the live stream every Tuesday on my YouTube page at TYE Comedy at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or you can follow us on IG on Comedians in Bed Podcast. And check out Jeff. He got shows. He's always hosting. If you want to, slide through Wiley's, make sure you told him, hey, I heard you on the podcast. So he can know that you guys were actually listening and not just clicking. All right, cool. Jeff, we appreciate you, man, for coming on here, man. I know you got a show, so go ahead and kill it. Thank you once again for being on Comedians in Bed, man. We'll see you guys.